Cinestro called the cast. It's your weekly gold mine. Stay tuned in. Stay tuned in. They got the beats, got those comic spins. I stay tuned in. Stay tuned.
Never get tired of that. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the exciting world of the Cinestro Core. It's your boy Black Screen. Today we're discussing the Acolyte season finale, Disney getting hacked, plus much, much more. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting from the very top, the Acolyte season finale. We're in season 1 of, I guess, a mixed review Star Wars show, in at least within our group. It started off really, really well, in my opinion, and then it kind of engine sputtering, then it went good again, and then it just engine sputtering. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it's not great. There's room for improvement, but let's start and talk about it. The finale definitely left room to be imagined, but it was not horrible. It was not horrible. I'll give it that. The fighting sequence was great. I like the visuals. I still love Manny Jacinto. Manny Jacinto is the biggest saving grace of this show. Amanda Stenberg.
Some might say only.
Well,
Lee Jung Jae
cooked. He did a great job as Master Soul, and I like seeing the conflict that he portrays on screen within himself as a character. So let's go around the room real quick. Let's start with the hater himself, the number one shit-colite hater, Gerardo. Let's go.
God damn, I was sneezing.
My fault. You're sneezing because you're allergic to good television.
Yeah, he's allergic to
dog shit. Yeah, I don't like this show. I don't think it was well written. I think the majority of the performances are ass, and it's not a fun show, man. I want Star Wars to be fun, and this wasn't fun.
Hater shit.
AZ disliked it as well. Let him go.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm right there with Gerardo. I have never I think it was really the child actor episode that ruined it for me, where I started to really see oh my god, this is the Pinocchio of movies. If he just continued to be made of wood and never became a real boy, it's just so flat, dude. It's just I've never been so blank faced and just unentertained. There's so many parts in it that are just fundamentally stupid. Soul, whenever he's I wish I could have saved you both. I'm no, you fuckwad. You could have.
Wait, first of
you
all,
were lifting the bridge.
You didn't have to do that voice.
He did.
First of all, you didn't have to do that voice.
Second, what do you mean by that?
Perhaps. Semantics. Partial racism aside, the point is, he could have saved both of them because he's holding the clearly very heavy bridge that both of them are standing on. He could have just gone, I'm going to lift these two children because we've seen him force push other people before. He can do it. He just did it. I don't know why that just bugged the fuck out of me. I was dude, there's got to be a better way that they had that envision in their head when they made the script, and they just didn't translate well because it seemed like there were so many easy solutions and there were so many little contrivances and other shit. It just seemed like a very flatly put together show, right? It didn't feel like it had it wasn't as insulting to my intelligence as Boba Fett was, but it was still it was to a point where I was just dude, this is not very competent. This is not good. But yeah, that's my surface level negatives.
We got two haters dissing the show. Mm-hmm. Luis, what you got? Let's see.
I mean, I think the finale had a lot of ground to cover. It was going to be tough to come back after that flashback episode. I think it was pretty well established the fact that the flashback was already stuff we already touched on. We didn't really see any new information. We were just oh, so Saul killed her mom. Y'all could have just showed us that, or you could have just told us that. The fact that we had to get a whole episode. So I feel like the finale had a hard time kind of recovering from that. But this is what's so frustrating about the show is that the good moments are when it's cooking, it is cooking. I.e., for example, the action. I do, and I know some people in this group specifically are saying that that's not enough to save a show. But I think it's it's really frustrating when you see action that is, in my opinion, some of the best that we've seen in Star Wars in years, and maybe even in ever. You know, I think the action is fantastic. I think the lightsaber battles are phenomenal. I think like the hand-to-hand combat, I think a lot of that stuff is really cool. I think what they wanted to do with Soul's character and kind of like, you know, like I don't know. It's really fresh. I'm mixed on it. I think the finale was okay. I think the show for the most part was bad. But it's like there's a lot of things and a lot of aspects about it that I really enjoyed. Like I really liked Lee Jung Jae. I really liked Manny Jacinto. I loved episodes 4 and 5. I liked the finale. I liked some of the teases and kind of like the little nuggets and that they sprinkled in the finale. Like I like some ideas, some Galaxy Brain ideas that I think the show had that didn't translate well. Like AZ said, I don't think they landed on those, and I don't think they were able to fully let us know exactly what they thought about those things. So I don't know. I'm more positive about it than AZ and Gerardo because I did enjoy it and I really enjoyed lots of aspects of it. But ultimately, I think it did not work.
It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong.
You're loud.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Everyone has a valid take on this show. You mentioned something I wanted us to touch on real quick, just very briefly. A little bit. You said a little bit of nuggets, a little bit of like surprises and teases and things like that. Let's talk about who was that in the shadows, bruh. Who was that peeking around the corner in the
It's
cave?
Plagueis.
Yeah, we all know.
Yeah.
It's Darth Plagueis the Wise.
I was listening to a podcast that was saying, if that's Darth, that better not be Darth Plagueis because it is, and I don't know if it is. Then this show, I don't know what the fuck they're trying to go for. But I think it's like it's pretty obvious, like
It's
right,
the-
that it's Plagueis, right?
It's the fucking jingling keys defense that Star Wars always does.
But here's the thing. Here's what's so frustrating about it. Me and Graham's not here to like, you know, that's our Star Wars lore expert, and that's the Star Wars expert to kind of. But me and him were talking after we watched the finale yesterday, and we were just kind of texting back and forth, and we were just saying like, it's this again. Another thing that's so frustrating about this show is that, for example, like teasing the Virgins, talking about the Virgins and about how you can create life from the Force out of nothing, and then teasing Plagueis, you know, that like that
Skywalker
aspect
shit.
of it, all that stuff is really cool because that leads into the original trilogy and into the prequel trilogy very like so beautifully, right? Because there's like, that's so Anakin's existence and kind of his how he comes to be makes a lot more sense, right? And it's like, and it's like, so then Plagueis knows about the Virgins, and so that's why he starts experimenting with trying to create beings, and they're not really, you know, and then the Force to counteract that makes Anakin, you know, and so it's like the Leslie Headland, I think, knows Star Wars and knows the lore pretty well, and I think had an idea for what she wanted to do long term. And I think she was like, we need to get season 1 out of the way so we can establish kind of these basic ideas, these basic principles of what I want the story to be moving forward. And it felt like that. It felt half-assed. It felt
like laying a lot of groundwork.
Laying a lot of groundwork for what
Like
seemed to get us
exposition.
nowhere. Yeah. Because if you think about it, we never really left Brandok. We went to Coruscant maybe twice. But other than that, we were on Brandok the entire time. And so it's like, it feels like...
And the where Kelnaka was, right? Or is that also Brandok?
That's Brandok.
That's still Brandok?
Was
Man,
Isn't it?
I don't know.
leave shit.
I don't remember. But it's like...
Either way,
But
it
all
seems
that
like
to
we're
say...
not moving.
That's what I was going to say. All that to say is that it feels like the show...
Very stagnant.
wanted to feel large and kind of expansive, while also at the same time, but it's a small kind of self-contained personal story, and it's like it didn't know what it wanted to be, and you could feel that.
And to add on to that, I feel like
Cough Bar. That's where Kelnaka was.
I think
Kofar,
I think one of the big mistakes of this show, Luis, is honestly like it wants to do all this grand, interesting stuff and all this setup and all that, but it doesn't have anything to really keep your attention so that you're really sticking around to care about that stuff. Like the moment I started to care about something, right, it was like, oh, maybe we'll see this in the next season. Oh, better stick around there. Oh, it's going to be so good. and then it's just like, here's a bunch of flat stuff to get there in the meantime. It's like if you go on your way to get some like really, really good sloppy toppy, and then you just keep on hitting pothole after pothole after pothole. Eventually, by the 5th or 6th pothole, you're not going to care about the top. You're just going to go home. That's how I felt during the show. This is the way that I feel now, having seen the finale, is that I got to the top, Luis,
and it wasn't worth it.
Through all the potholes, and there was teeth. That's how I feel.
Your shit. Yeah, they bit
That's
your
how
shit.
I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel from the show. It falls flat in its execution so many times to really make you care about these characters. And I think one of the biggest
but I think conceptually it falls flat as well.
Conceptually.
Execution. I think, like I said, I think Leslie Headland was like, the Rise of the Sith, that's a cool idea, right?
Yeah.
Pre Phantom Menace, that's cool. How did we get Anakin, or kind of like the space Jesus kind of story? Like how do we get to that point? How did Plagueis and Sidious kind of come to power, like in the shadows of the Jedi Order? Like that's a cool idea. That's an interesting idea. But I think the problem was focusing it on Osha and May. And like you said, if we had interesting things to kind of entertain us while the story was kind of unraveling, while the mystery is unraveling, we'd be a lot more engaged. But like, if the writing is bad and the acting is bad, then that's 3/5, 4/5 of storytelling out the window, down the toilet. Exactly. Right? Because you can't rely on a battle sequence every 2 episodes to kind of keep you engaged and keep you locked in. So if the writing is bad, the acting is bad, you're just like, this is a slog. I'm not going to get, because there's nothing in here that's interesting me, that's getting me through the story. And so you're like, these concepts are cool, these ideas are cool, but this battle sequence is cool, but everything else does not work. Yeah,
it's a good contrast. It's a good contrast to another show we've been reviewing, House of the Dragon. The most recent episode did not have as much action as the past episodes, and it was still such an engaging story because it's written well, it's acted well. You cannot deny the mastery that is Matt Smith and Emma Darcy. They are phenomenal performers. And that's not to say Lee Jung-jae is not phenomenal or Manny Jacinto is not phenomenal. It's just their performances in this. Really, it's mostly Amanda Stenberg. Love you. This fell flat for me. Could have been better. I feel like the whole twin dynamic should have been 2 different people.
Scrap
same
that shit.
Same actress, but
focus
2
on the
different
Jedi
people.
Order. Don't focus
Exactly. I feel like it would have hit more with the heel turn of Osha becoming more towards her dark side counterpart.
Yes.
If they focus more on the Jedi and its inner workings.
If it wasn't so telegraphed.
Yes.
Like if it wasn't so obvious.
Exactly.
We called this. We called that. What happened in the finale? We called it. We said it's called the Acolyte. Osha's going to start off as a goody to the good guy side. May's going to be the more negative, evil Sith side, and there's going to be a flip at some point.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was going to happen at the very end. I thought it was going to happen somewhere in the middle. But
here's something else.
We're not wrong.
I like the what they're doing with the kind of like the course correction of like the Jedi and making us see that they're like they've actually kind of been bad and they're not really as great as they claim to be. But it seems like it's like a hard pivot now. It feels like if they would have made the Jedi a little bit more nuanced. Right, because it seems like they're just making the wrong decisions every step of the way. Every step of the way, they're making the wrong choices. Saul's infatuation with Osha is weird and kind of like
very weird.
It's very strange, and it's just kind of like, and that kind of propels everything forward. The guy from Game of Thrones, what's his name? Torben. His kind of decision making, like it seems so vapid and random and out of nowhere, and it's just kind of like what is going on? Vernestra just kind of covering everything up to cover her ass, and it's just like it just seems like you're just like, I don't like them.
Yeah,
they suck. They are garbage, and I get it. And you have
badly
to kind of
written.
You have to be exactly. You have to be on Osha and May's side to kind of like for this to work. But it's like Amanda's performance isn't good or engaging.
Yeah.
So you're not really you don't want to side with her because you're like, she's boring and weird and her choices are uninteresting. But then you're like, but then the Jedi are badly written and just kind of bad at their jobs and uninteresting, and the only one is Saul because he's a good performer. So you're just like you feel like you're floating in kind of this ether of nothingness because you're like, you can't latch on to anything. So when
You
Manny
know-
Jacinto comes out as a stranger, you're like, this is great. Finally, a charming
Yeah.
performer who is engaging, who I like, whose decision making seems kind of sound and believable. And then he's only in it for like 10 more minutes throughout the rest of the
They
season.
should have leaned more into the soul Khmer dynamic.
Sinestro
It's
dynamic.
just crazy to me
Soul
that
Khmer.
why was Khmer not the main character of this show?
That's okay.
Should have been.
Actually, what's interesting about that is a while ago, I don't know if any of you guys ever saw it when it came out, but Marvel, they made a show for the Inhumans back when they were struggling to get the X-Men rights from Fox.
Yeah.
And so
Black Bolt.
And so they made with Blackie
DEI
Dark
Bolt.
Bolton, home of the dumbest fucking name in the history of Marvel canon. But basically what happened
Black
was
Bolt, but
they took the character of Maximus the Mad, who was essentially like his Loki, right? He was always fighting power, trying to get the throne. He's not like super powerful. He's just really intelligent. You know,
Cunning.
They took him and they made him, instead of just like a morally gray villain where you can kind of see their point, to just straight up right, because the actual people were so incompetent. Because what was happening was the Inhumans, whenever somebody was given their powers via the Terrigen Mist, if your power was not something that made you look cool or do something that they could utilize, you went to go work in the mines. And Maximus was like, I don't have powers. That seems kind of stupid. Why don't we just rebel against the crown? Because clearly they're abusing their power, and we'll banish them, and I will rule, because I don't feel like anybody should have to go slave away in the mines.
I like that.
And you're like, that makes perfectly logical sense. And that's the same way I feel about Khmer in this. Khmer has so many excellent points, to the points where they seem 100% valid, because all of the Jedi we've seen in this show are actual shitbirds. Like they're either shitbirds or forgettable, and I don't care about them. Like the little girl, I've already forgotten her name. All I remember is she became Jackie, the one who became 3-hole punch
because I
Jim
cheered
from the
when
office.
she died. Fuck that. Yeah,
I was so happy.
I ran that
didn't
bitch
care.
back.
I didn't care.
Respect.
When
Respect to Daphne Keane, but that
respect my queen.
Love X-23. That character was ass.
When light skinned Killmonger died and he got his neck snapped, I said
Yord.
no. Yord got his neck snapped. When he got his neck snapped, I was like, nah, that's too quick. I want you to make him suffer for how much I've
in the Jedi Order.
No, I love him. I love him.
I
love that guy.
The British
Shout out,
twink,
Maud.
I like him. I like him. He's
he was so annoying and stupid that I was like, yeah, give me more of him.
He just not even that. He just didn't. It didn't work. He didn't fit in the. I don't know. Again,
gay people can't exist in Star Wars.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
The way
he said stupid people can't exist in Star Wars.
Bad actors don't.
I don't think that he was bad. He's just.
It's not even.
I like him. I thought he was fun.
I feel like as a whole, so much of this, like if they ever release like a deluxe clusterfuck new edition with 3 extra
they ain't releasing shit,
or whatever the fuck, right? if they made some kind of behind the scenes, I would love to see how much of this got cut out, like left on the cutting room floor, because it seems like there's so many scenes of like emotional depth or background that we're just missing. Right? Like you were saying earlier, Luis, how Soul's whole connection with the twins feels rushed. We don't really get a scene of them bonding. They have like one fucking conversation on the ship, right? What's her name? Veneris or venereal disease.
Venestra.
Yeah, the green
venereal disease.
Whatever her fucking name is. She just is the whole time like, we don't want to tell people, but I'll never tell why. Like there's no motivation. And then at the very end, we try to tie it all together very loosely with this shitty Gordian knot of plot that Khmer is her favorite, is her former Padawan. And I'm like, dude, if that had been revealed earlier on, I would have felt more justified.
I mean, it was heavily implied.
It was heavily implied.
It was literally a shot of his back.
What is the fucking point? What is that?
Season 2.
It's not going to get a season 2. It's so fucking lame.
The story would have continued whether or not he was her fucking apprentice. Who cares about that? It's stupid. It's a dumb backstory that we don't need.
It's like what I'm saying. It's what I'm saying. It's like it feels like the Leslie Headland and the writer were like, oh, you know what would be cool? Like they pick like 3 or 4 things. Are like that would be really cool. Okay, now we got to write everything in between those things that we think is cool. They're like that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon nod at the end between the stranger Khmer and Soul, where they're floating down from the bridge. They're like, that's cool. They're like the battle in the woods. That's cool. They're like this witch coven ritual thing. They're like, that's cool. And they had these ideas, and we're like, okay, how do how do we fill in the blanks? How do we connect this to this to this to this
They're
to
like,
this?
how do we
It's just
give Saul a reason to kill their mom? Oh yeah, she was gonna let them join the order, but before she did that, she's gonna turn into a fucking cloud of black smoke.
Yeah,
And not
like, what
explain
the fuck is
anything.
that?
What the fuck was that?
the
I was
fuck
gonna
is
let her
that?
join.
Exactly.
Why'd you do that shit then?
Yeah,
Exactly. That's the thing. It made no emotional sense,
there's a
right?
lot of
You're like,
contrivances.
and Lee Jung Jae is pulling a lot of weight in these scenes, right? Because he's such a
You could
phenomenal
almost say
actor.
he's
Yeah.
he's pulling so much that it's too much for him. It's not enough for him to be.
Well, one actor
One
just
man
cannot a
shoulder
good
the
show
burden
There were
make.
three
Exactly.
good characters. That's Kamir, Soul, and the Twink. That's it.
No, Twink was dog shit.
No,
Get the
great.
fuck out of here.
No, wait, no. There is
What are you
one
gonna
more
say,
good
Pip?
one.
Fuck you.
No,
Don't say
actually,
that little fucking
Basil.
dog man.
Basil.
No. The Wookiee. And the Wookiee for only one reason.
Kalnaka.
Kanaka for
Let me
only
take a
one
breath.
reason. I feel like Kanaka actually had an arc, as in they go in, they do one thing, and then they
That nigga
die.
died.
I
He's
could follow
useless.
Kalnaka's story beat for beat, but everyone else feels like there's shit missing from it. Kalnaka has what I would call the closest thing to an actual arc in this show.
Because we had the least amount of time with him. That's why.
Exactly my fucking point. Why is it that the person we've had a microcosm of time with, Luis, is the one person I feel any
Yeah.
resonance towards?
Yeah.
That just shows the overall show itself is not very well put together. Like, it's just very contrived and very convenient, and it's just set piece after set piece to where even the way that it's shot, it feels like it's all on the volume. Like, it feels very flat in a lot of scenes, and
I'll push
just
back
doesn't
on
work
that
for
point.
me.
I think because I was a fan because they used a lot of practical sets, and you can tell episodes 4, episodes 5. A lot of this seems like it's shot on location, and a lot of it seems like it's practical sets, and that's what and that's one of the things that they went to actual space. That's one of the things that I really like about it, is what I'm saying. So I'll push back on that. I disagree. I think it looks great. I think it sounds great. I think
sound design is good.
It fell flat. It fell flat.
really
It lacked
did.
heart. It lacked I don't know, just the writing was bad. And look, and I don't want to blame Leslie Headland. She created the show. She did not write every episode. I do think that if we would have let her kind of enact her, I mean, she was a showrunner on the show, so I mean, it is kind of still on her, but I don't know. I don't know. I really wanted to like the show from the moment it was announced, and I held strongly until the finale, and so
I think
I don't know.
I
What
think
he's
it
trying
really
to say
could
is
have.
women can write bad shows too, and we
I
love
think-
that.
I think when you look at a show like this, there's just certain people that I feel like I want to talk to, like the casting director. I would like to talk to them just real quick, have a brief chat about maybe if you can't find someone to take your 2-dimensional dialogue to the next dimension, probably don't cast them as the main role, because then every single time that they speak, I'm going to confuse their line deliveries for the pit droid in their pocket because they both sound robotic as shit. It's just getting to the point to where I did not care. I did not care about the character because there was a point where I felt like Amanda Stenberg was not connecting with the material at all. And I don't even really fault her for that, because she's probably getting great in other things. It's just in this, from the ground up, whenever she's not great, you start to notice overall the material itself is just very weak and just
good. And look, good actors elevate bad material.
Yeah,
and that's why they're so hard to come by, right? Lee Jung Jae elevated this. Manny Jacinto elevated this. That's hard to come by. Not every actor is that good, but I feel like this is a much larger issue that isn't necessarily about the show. I think it has to do with Disney and Star Wars as a whole. I feel like all of this might lead back to the fact that this all might just be a little rushed, right? It leads back to the creation of Disney Plus. It leads back to Disney buying Lucasfilm and being like, okay, we're going to milk the fuck out of this property as much as we can. And I feel like that therein lies the issue, right? If they have a streaming service and they're like, we're going to release 3 Star Wars shows a year, that's not a lot of time to write the scripts, to film the show, do pre and post production,
it also ties in what we keep talking about, how they keep making these seasons too fucking short to tell all the story in 6 or 8 episodes. You can't do that, especially with a story as expansive and encompassing a Star Wars as a Star Wars universe. The Skywalker saga alone is 9 movies straight. Forget even talking about the shows that are tied in between there. You cannot tell me that you're going to tell an entire story about the High Republic days in 8 episodes and expect everyone to want to stay tuned
or
in,
16 episodes, 2 8-episode seasons.
Exactly. And even the boys runs into this problem. The only show that gets away with it well, to me, is House of the Dragon, because they have 10-episode seasons, but each episode is an hour long.
This one's 8.
Wow, whatever.
Also the bear.
I'll let it slide because I'm a
Listen.
number 1 House of the Dragon
Yeah.
Glazer, hashtag Team Black. I'm a number 1 The Bear Glazer, hashtag.
But I think
all that.
I think we've talked about what we dislike.
Same.
Is there? And I'm the only one who's like really like actually like enjoyed it. Matt has spoken out that he didn't think it was terrible either. Are there things that you guys enjoyed?
The one thing I want to talk about is that Osha did in the last episode. And I think that right there, like we're talking about the cool moments in the show. First of all, I'll talk about the fight scenes just very quickly. It was very reminiscent of like the martial arts kung fu films back in the day, especially with them floating down like that. I'm like, that's straight out of like a kung fu movie, like some Ip Man, something like that. It was very well done.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, I was like, if they had done this, and it was apparent in the first episode that the fight scenes, the choreography would be kind of cool because they had May, and that's one thing I feel like they really should have leaned into hard is the martial arts aspect. May fighting full-on Jedi masters and taking them down. Straight up hands, bro. So that's what I would say about that. But the one thing I really liked in the finale was Osha going straight up beast mode and bleeding a fucking kyber crystal in live action.
So
talk
cool.
about
That was so cool.
You talk about how all your pain and anger and all the emotions that the Jedi tell you to hold back and not experience. She let that shit out. And that crystal turned blue to red in her hand. I was like,
that scene would have hit a lot harder if she didn't have the same fucking facial expression the whole goddamn time.
She has the Jack Quaid problem, bro. She has the Jack Quaid issue.
Stop. She was bad in this. She will not. We will not.
Even for me, man, that was a little bit too much. That was a little bit too much for me.
You just said
I'm calling.
You equated her to Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid, emotional.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Face. Bro, she should have been, instead of her crying, she should have been screaming like how she's pissed
or
off
just
that he killed
that's
her.
Called making.
Mom.
She should have made more interesting choices. Yeah, she wasn't. She was playing it way too safe, and it was uninteresting.
Clearly, these
that shit.
No,
Jack
Quaid makes choices. They're just dog shit, and he's bad. So they don't translate.
I figure
he can't execute well.
If they had just like one guy, right, like one dude who's done improv for like once in his life, like he's even in an improv troupe or some shit, or even like a high school theater teacher on set next to the director who would just shout like bigger during takes, like to get some fucking emotion out of these cardboard beat boop ass niggas. I would have loved it. Just like it feels very one take esque. Like if these are retakes, I would hate to see the first ones. I would hate to see
anyone in here watching Supercell yet?
I haven't watched
Supercell yet.
I don't watch.
I don't watch dog shit.
I'm not gonna spoil. It's actually kind of good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna spoil it. But the last episode, a very important character. Something happens to a very important character, and the main character shows so much emotion. I'm like, where was this in the Star Wars show, bro? It felt like he was like actually
in Andor.
In pain. I was like, what the fuck? What is this? So yeah.
The last Jedi.
The last Jedi. So I don't know.
I think if I had to say I liked anything in this show, I would say the best compliment I can give is to the costumer. Whoever made the drip.
Jesus Christ.
Whoever made the drip.
Swiped out.
Actual good drip. I like the
dripped out.
It looked really nice. I liked Osha's weird fucking like Yeezy sweater turtleneck thing she had when she was on the maintenance thing. I also liked the fucking like Montclair fucking long robe.
Yeah, Kamir.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Kamir's like sleeveless Magneto fucking vest thing. Like I don't know what that was. The
tunic.
And I'm a sucker for like cool Sith helmets, and that helmet's rad. That's
Yeah.
a Hall of Fame helmet right there. It
They
reminds
should
me
agree.
of like
into that
Bro,
more. The Cortosis helmet.
yeah, it reminds me a little bit of like fucking of Starkiller's helmet, just a little bit from the bad ending.
The Sith Stalker armor.
It
Yeah,
does
I
look
really,
like that.
I really
Yes.
like it. I really fuck with just the thin visor and how like it basically shuts down all of your senses and it can almost drive you insane. Like the upside
sensory
down, basically.
deprivation helmet.
Sensory deprivation. Yeah, I really like that. That's a cool lore addition.
Again, see, cool idea. Cool idea that's just
but
surrounded
terrible.
by mediocre.
Well,
things.
okay, wait. There's one new addition that they made that I thought was fucking stupid. A lightsaber whip is the fundamentally like the dumbest fucking thing I've
That's
ever
not
seen.
new
in my life.
though. That's
It's a-
Legends.
I
That is
don't
Legend
care.
stuff.
I don't care. It was
It
dumb
is
then,
stupid,
and I
but
think
I
it's
like
dumb
it.
now because
I think it's
what is-
cool.
it's cool in
We didn't
theory,
see it
but
in
then you
action.
think
Is
about
the
it.
problem.
It
No,
whips
it's
like
im-
one
it's
bug,
impractical,
and then
bro.
you're just like, oh, okay, cool.
It's
I can't
impractical.
think of what else to do with it.
It's
Think
very
about, like,
impractical.
Think about how a whip works. If you do some Indiana Jones shit and wrap around like a tree, what happens? That lightsaber gonna cut through that fucking
It's
tree.
gonna
You're
cut
not
through the
catching-
tree. You
you're not
can't
catching
grab
shit.
nothing.
What are you
You
gonna
can
do?
just hit shit.
Doom. Oh,
You can
fuck.
hit shit
Oh,
that's
damn.
slightly further away from you. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know what else does that? A gun.
It's
Oh,
called long
blaster.
distance.
A blaster.
A long distance battle.
Or
You can keep
you
your
force
distance.
throw
A
that bitch
blaster
across
is
the
even
room.
better.
You
A
throw that shit
blaster
across the
is
room. and you-
fundamentally
How
the
does she
same
deflect blaster
fucking
bolts?
thing.
I want to see
She
that.
don't. She gonna get fucked up doing that.
She doesn't. She looks like she's doing fucking drill, like ribbon dancing in a parade. Like,
What
she looks
about you,
fucking-
Gerardo? What did you like about the?
I mean, from the first episode, I loved the combat. I thought it was really well shot. I thought it was well choreographed. I think the design of the show was great. I think it was shot really well. I love that it's practical sets. I think that adds a lot to a show. That this wasn't shot on the fucking volume.
Real.
But other than that, man, I mean, aside from a few performances, the show fell flat.
yeah.
It's ass. Everyone
Okay,
involved
this is a good.
shot.
This is a good. What we liked about this.
Oh, what we
section.
like, that's it, motherfuckers. You're not getting anything
Okay.
else out
All
of
right,
it.
that's what I'm saying. That's it. We get it. You ain't gotta, we know you hated it. You ain't got to say
Bro
it's
said,
ass.
bro said,
Damn,
what we
bro.
like. That's all. That's it. That's all you got.
Matt.
Speaking of likes, that's pretty much it. I mean, I like the sets. I like the it felt real, the nature and going around. Even Coruscant. That's always been my biggest complaint with Star Wars CGI. Coruscant, either it feels super real or it just looks like you can tell it's CGI. And was it Mando?
Mando season 3.
Yeah, bro. You look. I was
Like
looking. I was
dog
like,
shit.
come on. The best part was when we were on that other, like, not the casino planet with the lights. It wasn't Coruscant, but it was like another city type planet, and it looked a little bit better. But otherwise, I was like, this shit still looks bad. And obviously, I like the kung fu fight scenes, the martial arts, the lightsaber battles went crazy. It definitely brought back a lot of the feelings you felt during the prequel series. How these fast-paced, intense battles, and these are Jedi who have trained for years. You know, these are peak
But I like
power
how
Jedis
these
and
felt
peak
more like the sabers had more weight to them. Like they
Also,
weren't
can I say
going around
something about that?
flipping shit. What's up?
I saw a lot of people complain. They're like, "Oh, well, he's just hitting his lightsaber where it's gonna be." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the point. That's what they were doing in the prequels. The point of the fucking
That's how
Jedi
sword
is
fighting
that they
works.
can predict and deflect. That's the whole point. Why are you crying about that? Go watch the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan. That's all they were doing. Stop
It's
being a
literally
bitch.
choreography. It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, well,
that shit was
he's
so
not going to
hard,
kill
bro.
you. Shut the
What he
fuck up.
said.
you
Oh, they're
fat
saying they
bitch.
weren't striking to kill. That it was
Yeah,
just
I'm
kind of
like, dude, that's,
Bro,
oh,
do you
It's
you
made
have
up,
something
bro.
against
touch a woman,
sword
you
fighting?
fucking nerd bitch. Jesus. Touch a man, do something.
yeah, touch something,
Touch up,
bro.
man.
Touch some nuts.
Nah, yeah. Speaking of things we dislike, let's go around the room real quick. Rattle these off.
we already
I
talked.
mean,
We already talked enough.
Oh,
about
then
all
we're
the
good,
ones
we
bro.
want
I
more
think.
negativity.
I think we're good, bro. Yeah, I think
like
we get it.
negativity.
I think they
I'll
need to
thrive off
extend the
negativity.
Twink's role in the
They need a
second
what?
season if it happens.
Season
Give
2,
him-
make him a Jedi master.
Nah, make
Yeah.
season 2 just all about Kamir. That's all I want. I want that to be what I actually
Give,
care about.
and give
if
me
it
no
is.
more fucking twink. Get his ass out of
No,
No
there.
more.
give him
No
more
more.
screen time, please.
No more,
More
bro.
Kamir-
British
Kamir
twink.
makes-
That
in my
boy
Star Wars
makes
canon.
him-
That's what I want.
Kamir makes him his apprentice instead of Osha, I would like to see how that works.
That's
He's gonna be saying
Palpatine.
some dumb shit.
Young Palpatine.
I want to see
Palpatine was
Kamir.
never Jedi.
I want to see Kamir rejoin
He
the
is
Jedi
now.
Order to get his Jedi GED. You know, to like regraduate.
No,
Like a Kamir
fuck
goes
that.
back to school. Just make it a season of Community, but set in Star Wars.
that would
Ugh,
get
I'd
dog
low
shit.
rating.
I'd
That would
watch
get low
that.
rating.
It'd get
I'd-
You've
canceled
liked every.
That would-
8
You've
times.
liked every clip I've shown you. Shut the
It'd
fuck
get
up.
canceled 6
I
times.
love Community.
That would
I would
get-
love
that
that.
Low ratings. But let's
6
talk about
seasons in a movie.
speaking of ratings. What is our ratings for this show? This season 1.
Bro, I give this dumpster fire a solid 5. I would give it the extra 2 points that I think it genuinely deserves, but the reason I wouldn't is because they didn't try, so why should I? So it's a 5.
Valid. Gerardo, other known hater of the Acolyte. What you got?
it's low too, man. It's like a 4.
God damn.
Jesus Christ.
Two good episodes and a couple good fight scenes thrown in between of 8 episodes of dog shit dialogue, dog shit writing, horrible fucking acting. Like, it doesn't make up for it, man. This show was not good. Everyone involved should be fucking burned at the stake.
You were gonna say shot?
Yeah, that's
But in light of recent events,
Yeah.
change
We've changed. We're
Not
using
here.
change our
guillotine now. Guillotine instead of
this
bullet.
I hate that I had to wait like a week for every fucking episode.
All right, Luis,
What did you
got?
give? What would you give Book of Boba Fett? Just curious.
It's like a fucking 2. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
actually like a 1 for me. I fucking hate that show
It's
so much.
garbage.
Okay.
The
Just
The only
curious,
part of
just
that
curious,
show I
just
liked was
curious.
the land back
like-
Tuskens and then they died.
Yeah, like by comparison, I watched the Acolyte week to week. Book of Boba Fett, I had to actually take a 2 to 3 week break because I couldn't fucking stomach it when it did the bike
fair.
chase.
Yeah, I didn't.
Like a panther.
Yeah, fucking shit,
I
fucking
like
annoyed
that.
me.
I like
couldn't
that.
do
I
it.
like that.
Like a panther.
What were
Go
the mods?
Tatooine
Oh
Rangers.
my god.
Go Tatooine Rangers.
The mods worst.
That's
Oh
cool.
my god.
God damn.
Anyways, Luis, what's your rating, bro?
I'll give it like a 6. I don't think it was great, but I don't think it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire. Like, it wasn't horrific. And again, like, there's a lot of things that I really enjoyed that I thought were really cool. That got me kind of excited for what's to come. So yeah, I'll give
Hopefully
it
it
a 6.
doesn't fucking come.
I'm in the same boat. I give it a 6 also. Really, I give it like a 5.5 to a 6. There's too much to be imagined, too much to be desired. They could have done a whole lot more. You're right. Kung fu scenes, fighting scenes, all that
Hard.
choreography, it goes hard, but it does not save the show enough. You cannot put you can't put all your money on this one aspect. It has to be all around.
Or you can,
And-
but make it about that. Like if that's what you want to do.
If it's gonna be an action film, make it or action series. Focus on that.
Because we have a very deep, more like talky show in Andor. Why are we wasting time in this? Like if that's what you want to do that. But like
And furthermore,
put your fucking
Andor,
effort in that.
Andor tied action in really well.
Mhm.
Even with the mostly dialogue scenes, it still had good action, good story. I was like, see, this is a good show. This is good Star Wars.
This is good
Acolyte
writing.
Acolyte started off as good Star Wars.
I don't
Immediately
even know
went to
about that.
something else.
It started off as
I
Star
don't know.
Wars.
We're gonna see. I hope they don't call Leslie Headland a hack. But speaking of hacks, Disney got hacked, and we're gonna see what happened with that. AZ, what you got? What's the breakdown on that?
Oh man. Okay. Listen. So recently, Disney, the Walt Disney Corporation, got hacked. And I mean, like, bad. Like, it's bad. Like, a couple years ago, when Sony got hacked, it's pretty much their equivalent. A whole bunch of things got leaked, including like future movie plans and stuff. And one of the things that's really interesting that they got off the servers is Deadpool 3. Yeah, Deadpool 3 has been leaked onto Pirate Bay, which I have not confirmed. I have not confirmed myself via checking. I'm just saying this is information that I know. Deadpool Wolverine. I'm not sure if it's like the
He's
complete
sailing
print,
the high seas,
or if it's
boy.
like a fucking X-Men origin situation. Like, you know how a couple of years ago
like
when it
previs
released,
and
it was like the pre-visualizations. Yeah, and it was still shitty, but you were like, maybe it's okay. right? It's
Shit
I
kind
don't know. I don't know if it's the full movie, but part of me is tempted to watch it. Like I know I really want to see it in theaters, and I really don't support piracy on camera, at least. But I really
Black Sparrow, my nigga. Like
It's gonna be a horrific fucking movie in the movie theater anyway. So just
I'm really just
tickets free
intrigued.
anyway.
I'm looking up right now, like what
Real.
other information they got, but the most major thing I know of that they got was what's it called? The Deadpool 3 leak, which I don't think is gonna even really hurt it box office wise. I mean, it's fucking Deadpool 3. Like people have been waiting on this movie for God knows how fucking long. So I don't think it really even matters in the grand scheme of things. Now, I will say it's probably gonna be a little bit icky if on the slate is something stupid. I would very much like to know if something is very stupid. Like, I don't know, they've given like an Aunt May solo spin-off, like they were talking
You're
about.
telling me you're not
I'd
excited
watch
for Agatha on my schlong?
Agatha.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm actually excited for that. But yeah, it's they're currently investigating it. They don't have like any like true leads going on right now as for who's responsible, but they got 1.1 terabytes of data, which is impressive.
God damn. Yeah.
That's, getting that out of Disney. That's it's like
Unless,
like
unless
robbing
they
the
hack
government.
Bob Iger's bank account and his social security, I don't give a fuck.
Maybe
Drain
that's
his
the
bank
data
account.
leaks. Who
put that
knows?
money,
Do some
put
Robin
that
Hood
money
shit. That's all I
towards
need.
me. Send that thing to my pocket, bro. I'll link y'all my Cash App right now, my Venmo. Send me that. Hackers, listen, bro. Use your powers for good. Put some money back into the people's pockets, please. I don't give a fuck about none of the stuff that y'all be leaking, bro. I'm gonna see it eventually. What I give a fuck about is paying my bills.
Wait.
Please.
They did have some interesting leaks. One of the leaks that they had
Is
was
it
for,
money? Is it
no,
money?
No, it's not. It's a game related leak. So basically, Disney, because they own Fox, have certain IPs that they're expanding within the game market, right? And one of the things that they're bringing back is some of the old Alien versus Predator, like marine survival games of the Alien universe.
Dude, that Alien versus
And-
fucking Alien
and
versus
they're-
Predator game was
They're
sick.
one of the things that got leaked was that they're making Aliens Fireteam Elite 2, which is cool because I enjoyed playing that game. I'm also enjoyed Colonial Marines.
Isn't
which
it
is so good.
notoriously dog shit?
Not all of them. They have good mechanics. I feel like they're good. Like in they're very much Acolyte-esque, as in like they have good mechanics and good pieces, but the execution just always dog shit.
Damn.
So
Bringing it back.
it's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it is very interesting. And also apparently several communications also came out along with oh my god. Okay, so one of the main reasons why they're suspecting it was hacked is because the group who did it is very critical of AI usage and AI products and all that. And we all know they got into some hot water when they did the Secret Invasion shit show, entirely AI. I wouldn't be surprised if the script was AI. So I mean, honestly, like I don't know what's gonna come of this. It's
The
still
same
pretty.
people who hacked the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, it's still
Could
it's still relatively fresh. We don't have like massive details on everything, unlike the Insomnia hacks or other studios like Rockstar. So I'm interested to see how this develops. But yeah, biggest thing is that Deadpool 3 is out there somewhere on the internet if someone wants to go find it. I'm not going to yet.
Bravest soldiers, tap in. Not me. I'm not brave. I don't want to be in federal prison.
Not me.
But
No,
I don't have
you
a
got
VPN.
balls.
Y'all handle this.
Yeah,
I have one, but
good.
I don't use it for that. At least I'm not on camera.
That's crazy.
we got the handlers who will handle it can go handle it. But speaking of handled, this episode has been handled. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Real quick, shout out the homies at Backstage OL. Follow them boys. Tap in with them. David isn't here today to shout out his team over there, but they got great stuff going on. Shout out the homie AZ. Follow him on Twitch at twitch.tv/TariSingo. Great
I
stuff
do need
going
to
on there.
stream on
The
Twitch
gameplays.
eventually. I need to
Yeah.
start streaming again. I need to get on that.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit behind.
We got a Cinestro Core drunk Helldivers stream coming soon.
soon.
I gotta
If you
buy
can't
Helldivers
catch,
to write some down.
If you
Every
can't catch
death is a
AZ
sight.
if you can't catch AZ on Twitch, catch him on his YouTube at TariSingo.
Where I actually am. I'm actually on there. I
he's-
posted a
he's
video
Booked
2
and
days
busy.
ago. or 2 or 3 days ago. It is our first no cap recap where we break down your favorite comic book stories and help you learn a little bit more about them. It's the whole shtick. We
Yes,
did
sir.
Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, and up until the release of Deadpool 3, we're working our way through Deadpool stories. Tomorrow, I'm dropping a review of the Suicide Squad Isekai because it's actually fucking gas. And then from there, I'm going to be also doing some more Deadpool stories. We're going to go to Deadpool Killustrated, hopefully pack off the Deadpool Killogy, and then move on to like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is my favorite Deadpool story of all time, and I think the best one. But yeah, I'm excited.
Nerd.
Big
Bad.
things. Big things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot of cool things coming up. And that being said, another thrilling episode is in the books. Go ahead and do us a huge favor and tune in with us on all platforms at Cinestro Corp so you can stay tuned to everything we got coming up this year. Go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button so you never miss a beat. Show us some love by leaving us a stellar 5-star review wherever you catch this podcast. Spread the podcast and word about our podcast around on YouTube. Share it with your friends, family, your entire network. Y'all support means the absolute world to us. And until next time, guys, be breezy, be beautiful, stay cool, and we'll see you on the
Cover
Smash
girl.
Report. Peace.
We're the kings of the screen, yeah. Cinestro core, we're the dream, yeah. New episode Saturday afternoon. We in your ear, that comic book crew. More good it takes, what we do.